Hello, Minnesota Studies students. I'm making this video on Wednesday, but this video is for Thursday, March 3rd and Friday, March 4th. Again, I hope everything that I go over in here is helpful. Feel free to rewind this, pause, do whatever you need to as you go through this video. But the very first thing I want you to start with is let's go into Schoology and let's click on your grade book. I'm going to click on a different class here. Click on your grade book. If you go to quarter 3, remember, click on quarter 3. You'll notice that there's a grade for quarter 3. Not necessarily your final grade. That's kind of a combination of everything. But you should make sure that there are 8 assignments that you have a grade for. You have your Chapter 8 comprehension, your Chapter 9 comprehension, which was due yesterday on Wednesday. You have your Chapter 8 end of the unit test, and then we did Chapter 9 end of the unit test yesterday. That should be in there. You should also have Quiz 1 and Quiz 2 for Chapter 8 and Quiz 9 that we did a few weeks ago. And then today or tomorrow, either one, you're going to submit your map checkpoint, and I'll go over that in class. So there's 8 assignments that you should have. Okay? All right. First thing that we're going to do now is we're going to go into our Chapter 9 folder where you found this, and you are going to download this worksheet. This is what we're going to be doing today, so let's go ahead and put that into Notability. I should also tell you, we're going to create a new note, U.S. Dakota War as told by you, and we're going to put this in our Chapter 9 folder. There it is. Let's import it. Done. And boom, we can go back here now. So now I can go into my Notability. And when I go into Notability, let's get out of Avid. And we'll go into Minnesota Studies. I know you know how to do all of this. That's why I'm going fairly quickly. When I click on this, you will see the U.S. Dakota War as told by you. Here it is. So first thing is, as we go through this, the first thing I really want you to focus on is what is a documentary. A documentary is the story of something that happened. Okay, and it could be a sports story. It could be a story of a tragic a death in life. It could be a number of different things. In this case, it's going to be about the U.S. Dakota War. So now that we're done examining the history of the U.S. Dakota War of 1862, I want you to read the final few pages of Chapter 9, which is the Investigation 9 section, which is pages 188 through 193 in your book, or if it's your online book, it's 9.25 to 9.29. Okay, so I'm going to go into our book here real quick, and the Chapter 9. So what we're looking at is this section right here. Okay. It is the untold stories of the U.S. Dakota War. So I want you to read or listen to this section. Okay, it's going to tell you a couple stories. It's going to tell you the story of Sanana's story. It's going to tell you the story of Mary, of Almina. It's also going to tell you the story of Lorenzo. Okay, so take a look at this. Look at the pictures. Look at the letters. This is 4 more stories that we haven't really talked about. Then I want you to just go back and I want you to look at different photos that are in our book. Okay. Look at different names of people in our book. So Bishop Whipple, a member of Faribault, or someone from Faribault. Henry Sibley, you can see Henry Sibley held the trials. So be looking at this picture. What does this mean? Here's Mary again. Here's Wounded Man. Here's Little Crow. Big Eagle. So you're looking at some of these people. Andrew Myrick, as we know. Stephen Riggs. All of these individuals. So you're looking at these people. Now let me go back to, whoops. No, this will work. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go to Notability. So you're going to examine these individuals again, okay? The goal of this assignment, so this is what I really want to point out. The goal of this assignment is to recognize that behind every historical event, like the U.S. Dakota War, you will find that there are many different individual stories, okay? As I was sharing in class yesterday, sometimes we can look at a story or something that has happened. It might be a football game. And someone might say, oh my gosh, that's the greatest football game I've ever seen in my life. and someone else might say, that was terrible. All depending on your perspective. So what you're going to do is you're going to examine the pages of chapter 9. You're going to look at historical pictures, letters that are filled with words, and other clues that tell stories of those who experienced this tragic event in Minnesota. And then you're going to imagine that you are a writer, and you are exploring the primary sources and interviewing those who lived during this event. And then you're going to write a short story for the Faribault Daily News from a variety of perspectives. So that's what you're going to do. Now, I want you to consider a few things here, okay? First thing I want you to consider is, who is it that you're going to interview? In other words, whose story do you find most interesting? If you are going to interview, let's say, Stephen Riggs, well, he might have a very different story than Wounded Man, or he might have a very different story than Little Crow or Henry Sibley. So I've listed a whole bunch of people that you should consider. Andrew, Thomas, Stephen, Henry, Mary, Bishop Whipple, Hurd, Little Crow, Eagle, Big Eagle, Wounded Man, all these individuals that I've listed on here. What I want you to do is, what do their stories tell you about the U.S.-Dakota War? So you're going to make notes to yourself, right? So you're going to want to go in here and you're going to want to create a note page. Create a note page. You guys know how to do that. Apparently, as you're watching me, you can see that. Oh, here it is. So you're going to create a note page. As I said, I like to put the lines on the paper now. I think that's really cool. So that might be something that you do. And you're going to start taking notes, right? Taking notes. Maybe you picked Mary. Okay, so as I write down Mary's name here, what is it about Mary that I learned? What does she tell me about the war? We know that she was 14 when the war happened. We know that she lost her entire family. We know that she was in an internment camp in Little Crow's village. What else do we know about it from your reading? So I want you to tell their stories. What is it that they know? What pieces of evidence do you find interesting and why? What stories does this evidence tell you? What questions might you have for these people? Okay, so you're going to interview or you're going to find as much information. And feel free to search the internet, go to the Minnesota Historical page and look up things there. Just Google things. Find as much information about at least three. Okay, at least three. At least three people. Find information about three. And then imagine that you are writing for the Faribault Daily News and you are telling the story as these individuals saw it. Now, of course, you're going to have to embellish a little bit, right? If you ask an interview, you're going to have to imagine that they're responding back to you. So you get to be a little bit more creative as you're writing this story. But your short paragraph, okay, when you write this short paragraph, this short story, it should be somewhere between 150 words to 200. That's not a big deal. Okay, I know some of you just went, oh, that's not a lot. Okay, that's not a big deal. You're talking maybe 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs at most. Okay, so it's not a lot, and you have a couple days to do this. But you're going to write a short story in your notability, or I will have hard copies for you as well. I'll have regular paper just like this that you can write on. Okay, but you're going to write your story from the perspective of at least 3 people from the list above, this list right here. Add supporting evidence like a photo or a letter, and you may want to use in their own words as well, because that kind of tells a lot about them. All right, and then you're going to submit this to Schoology Investigation 9, My Story of the U.S.-Dakota War. So that's going to be your final project. You are going to have all day Thursday to work on this, to go through, find evidence, write information down, and then start constructing your thoughts, and then put it all together in a story, okay, that tells what was the U.S.-Dakota War all about from the perspective of one of your 3 people, okay? Who are you picking? All right, so that's primarily what we're going to be doing today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday. Now, I also want to say that when you are done with this, okay, the other project that you're working on, of course, is your Minnesota map. So, in your Minnesota map, if you remember, we had all of these that we were finding. I also put them at the front of the room, so you can just look up front. They're written in orange. But you are adding all these on here, okay? So Upper Sioux Agency, Fort Wrigley, New Ulm, Mankato, the Lower Sioux Agency, Wood Lake Battlefield, Birch Coulee Battlefield, the reservations of 1851 and 1858. As I was sharing with you in class yesterday, all of these can be found on your maps, your map pages in your book, page 176, page 503, page 501, and then, of course, the map that you were working on yesterday that I gave you also has a lot of this. So when this is all up to date, when you have those 9 things listed on there, then I want you to also take a picture of the map that you were working on yesterday after the quiz. And if you don't remember what that is, I'll go back into Schoology. It was this one. I got to pull those worksheets up. This map right here. Take a picture of your completed map page and add this to this map. And then you're going to submit that into Schoology under Map Checkpoint 1. So I've added that into your grade book already. So you'll have 2 things that you'll be adding, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to send me a note. I'll also probably give Mr. Chewinka a call so that I can fill him on things that we're working on. But you want to get your map done, okay? Map 1. And, of course, you want to get Map 2. Those are done, and then they can be submitted. You can submit those to Map Checkpoint number 4. You see that right there. Okay, you should also have submitted your Chapter 9 comprehension. I know some of you have not done that yet, and those of you who have missed the test, that should probably be the first thing that you do. All right, and then you will submit your U.S. Dakota War as told by you into Schoology when that's done as well, and I can't wait to read those. Hopefully, you guys will give me plenty of reading material for my flight back to Minnesota. Okay, any questions? Please send me a note, and I'll definitely get back to you. Oh, finally, if you did not do well on the quiz, I printed off some more test correction sheets, and they are in the bottom folder or the bottom basket in the back of the room. You can feel free to grab those, and then when you're done, just turn them into the top basket on my desk. All right, folks, have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you.